Are rolling out some of my offensive ebook for you guys. I know it's live stream. I know it's going to be free for the public, but I would appreciate, my cash apps there at the bottom is money sign HADOW gaming. Donations are appreciated for me doing this, and should I do well enough, I'll continue to roll these ebooks out. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the scheme. Doesn't matter who we play. Alright, first and foremost is I use a 2 quarterback system, so usually when I want to go deep I want to make sure I have my stronger arm quarterback, but like I said, I utilize my packages to kind of distribute the ball where I need to. Let's go over the audibles that I'm going to be using. We're going to use PA scissors, wide trail, double post, and wide receiver out. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go over how we're going to manipulate defenses. Let's say we'll start with cover zero. Like, people go up and play people that like to play man blitz a lot. Usually you want to come out in a run first, or you want to come out in any play that's not your audible. Like, you can come out off tackle, zone weak, halfback dive. It really depends on what type of running back you're using. If you got a power running back, I would strongly suggest one of the inside runs like halfback dive or zone weak. So we'll just start off with the dive. Let's just kind of match personnel here. Let's see. We'll start off with pinch plug 0. If I need to, I'll put another stick up, so I can kind of do some familiar adjustments people might try to do. So when I see cover 0, usually, if I do like motions or whatever, I can kind of see, if they come down or whatnot, or if he follows me to the other side. Usually I can tell it's man coverage, but most of the time people spam. So usually when it's cover 0, I just want to blow them over the top. So I'll probably use wide trail, and I'm going to show you how to run it. Alright, you want to make sure the fastest receiver you have gets that route. Okay, that route right there is very, very important, because you can pass lead it to the sideline away from the safety. Alright, so with it being cover 0, sometimes I want to kind of do some things with this receiver over here. I don't know what he's doing, but he needs to chill out. Like, what the hell? He keeps switching his feet, whatever. Here, let me get him off that spot. So. Alright, there we go. Alright, so usually I want to have familiarity with, whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't want to have 2 routes going into the same spot, because then if I do and they're in man coverage, it's going to have 2 defenders chasing into the same spot of the area of the field. I want to get that square route by Ruggs isolated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change Williams to a flat route. Okay? And then we're going to motion hike him when he goes over the field. Going to motion hike him right there, and they're going to cross, and then we just pass lead over the top. He's going to be wide open. Okay? Alright, so that's how I run wide trail. There's not too much else that I do out of that. That's it. Okay. Usually you're going to use that against cover 0 and cover 2. You might be able to get it off against cover 1 if they bring their safety down in the box. If y'all watch my stream, y'all notice that I kind of get a little excited when the safeties come down and they start pressing. So that is going to be my go-to play against press coverage. What up, Javi? I'm going to go back into it and show you the other way that I run it against other plays. Let's see. Let's say we come out in a Tampa 2. All right, this is a Tampa. This is a cover 2 beater off the top. Okay, so same thing. We're just going to give him a flat route. And that flat route should be enough to pull that cloud down once they cross. And then just pass lead to the sideline. Okay, that's going to be your cover 0, cover 2 beater. Alright? Or if they press, you might be able to beat quarters depending on the speed of your receiver. Alright? You're not going to use it up against anything else. Okay? So if you can't, you know, I'm going to teach you how to read defenses here in a sec. The next play that we're going to go over, this one's a little unique. Well, play. Alright, so here I go with the backup quarterback. Now in the strong eye close, the backup quarterback, it swaps your receiver. Okay, so you always want to run, like if you're running the wide trail, you want to run it to the field side, the side where you got more room to pass lead. Okay, so if you're on the left hash, you want to flip it, run it to the right, and use your backup quarterback so he has a strong arm to get it over there. If you're running it from the right hash, you want to run it to the left. Okay, so but other than that, let me show you the other play that we're going to use. Alright, the next play I'm going to go over is your double post. This is an extension of the wide trail because when people start usering, they kind of get put out of position. Okay, so we'll go back, we'll do it up against the cover 0. I can use this against cover 0, cover 1, cover 3, and sometimes cover 4. I have to double check. So we'll do it up against cover 0. Let me respot the ball. Carr has a stronger arm, so I need to make sure we showcase it a little bit how it works. Alright, so what I like to do here, because when I use my backup quarterback it swaps my receiver. Check this out. Okay, so like we might run a slant, we might run the flat route from here. It doesn't matter, but you know, it's just a point thing. The motion hike is going to be the primary receiver on this route. Okay, if they're covering the motion route, they're going to leave Williams wide open. Okay, so it really just depends. And the same thing, you're going to hike it as soon as he comes over there, and then he's just going to blow over the top. Just give me 1 sec, I might block a fullback. You know how practice mode gets sometimes. Here, we'll block the fullback. Let's try it again. Just motion hike before he sets his feet, and then you get it over the top. Okay, so that's the second way you can get it over there. Now, let's say the beauty about this play is because you don't necessarily need to motion hike it to get that. Like you could literally just run it as is. You know, because they're in the slots, if they're not really pressed or anything and they're off coverage, you should be able to fit it before he cuts. Like the next way to run it, boom, as soon as he cuts, just low ball right there. It's going to be cover 0 all the time. So you can just dot them up if they're in cover 1, cover 3, or 0 coverage. You just run it again just so that y'all can see. Hopefully I don't get hit with that quick pass animation. That is detrimental to the game at the moment. But let's go. Just low ball pass it. Every time it's going to beat cover, man. It's going to beat your man coverage, cover 2 man under, all that fun shit. Okay, so that's that. What up, Dennis? The next one that I'm going to go over, we're gonna use this PA scissors here in a minute. I'm going to kind of show you how to use it as well. Like, let's say you're playing someone that runs the meta defense and they stay in the 3-3-5. All right, that's why we picked the Chiefs, because they got the 3-3-5. And let's just, you know, just fuck it. Let's say they're in the cover 1. But it doesn't matter what the safeties are in, because the front 6, front 7 are still going to play the same. You could still utilize this motion scheme, because once you tear them up with the first few plays with this motion scheme, they're going to be pass committed. Okay, so you can open the run game back up, just run it up their throat a few times. Okay, so as long as you keep doing this motion scheme, they're not going to know what you're going to do. They're going to be all over the field. You're going to take their user. They're going to be backing up, especially if you have a speed threat. Now, with this, we get them to the point where they're respecting the run. We're going to use the PA scissors. Okay. What I like to do here is just run a flat route over here. And that'll usually pull down the corner from the outside. He has to respect that route. If not, that's going to be your primary read. Okay. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the motion. The same thing. You want to attack that area of the field. It's a easy area to get over the top one. Like even in practice mode, you know, they can't cheese you for it. So there's that. Trying to see what other plays we could run out of here. We can actually get one that has a base play that we can use. Just bear with me. Like the flood drive. It's pretty unique too. So if your speed receiver, like we might run it flipped because the speed receiver's on the other side. You want to make sure you get your fastest guy on that flood drive. It's like I said, you come out in personnel like this, you know, usually they're going to come out in a base coverage. We're going to do this against, doesn't matter, we'll go against like a Tampa 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send square on a streak. Just like that. And usually, you know, their safety, they see them over the top. They're going to expect you to be going outside. So when them two routes are going out there, they're going to end up going to your number 2 receiver. And it's going to give you enough separation for, you know, your inside route to get open. If not, you always want to use that flat route as your primary. Always look there first, because you don't want to take sacks, you know, trying to always read down the field. A lot of people are using, you know, a meta defense where they'll zone drop 25 yards back, you know, and it'll cancel out a lot of your deep reads. So you always want to have something underneath that needs to be, you know, respected and accounted for. You know, like I said, just don't get hit with a quick hike. Like, that's the only thing that I'm a little upset about this year, but hopefully they patch it tomorrow. Like I said, just run it like that. Now you can run it with the motion hike, but I like this one specifically to be to the outside. And it's not gonna let me do it in practice mode, but in a game, once you start manipulating the safeties and they start respecting what you can do, it'll start opening up. I'm thinking this, the next one that we got, I think this will be the last one, is the wide receiver out. Now this one is the same thing as the setup. If you have a speed receiver, their user is going to be holding turbo. Now if you hold turbo on defense, some of you may know this already, some of you may not. If you hold turbo on defense, it's going to hurt your change of direction bad. Okay, so if they're chasing the route, because he's running out like that, if they're chasing that route, it's going to put their user out of position when he cuts. Okay, so you could also, like I said, I like to run the slant with it, and then do the motion hike, and then hike it right there. He goes behind, and then you should have rugs over the top. Now in practice mode, it's not going to let me, whereas in a game, you know, it's a viable option. Let me see. Let's try it again. Let's just do it with a flat route. It's probably, like I said, practice mode is a little different than actual playing the game. So that should make them drop down. There we go. But that's pretty much gonna be it, guys. There are other plays that I run out of here. I'll show them to you real quick. Now I'm not using them in an audible scheme, because they're not going to work. Like if you're playing up against a heavy blitzer, it's not going to work for you. Okay, so I'll show them how I run them and when I would run them in certain scenarios. But other than that, I really don't sit in them too much. Let me change the play real quick. Usually you would want to be either to the right slightly or to the left slightly, depending on which way you're going to run it. And I would strongly suggest using a mobile quarterback. I know a lot of people have asked me that's been watching my streams, like they see me run it and they're like, yo, when do you run that? How do you run that? I'm going to show you, okay? The play that I run is the PA end around. Now I do use this in, you know, in symmetric with the end around and the halfback slash fake end around, just so that I can kind of pull their user safety in. You know, I use this mainly against people that user their safeties, you know, and I'll try to get them to bite down a little bit. Now if not, if I don't see them bring their user down, then, you know, I'll check out of it. Okay, so usually you might want to use this against like cover 3 or cover 4 users, like they go cover 4 quarters or something. Is a good place where I'll use it. Okay, so against 3-4 and 4-3 fronts, your IDs are going to be a lot different. You mainly want to ID where the guy on the edge, really. And then there's a cancel animation that you can do on these end arounds that a lot of people don't know about. Usually if they're not blitzing, like if they're rushing only 3 or 4, you don't have to cancel a play action. Okay, you can let it run the full cycle. If you're playing someone that's sending 5 or 6, you need to cancel as soon as you go to the halfback animation. As soon as you hand off to the halfback, just cancel it. So I'm going to show it the cancel real quick. You could cancel it right there and just blow it over the top. Okay, so that's how I run my PA in or out against, you know, people that are sending 4 or 5 or whatever. Okay, so if they're running 3, you don't need to. So let me kind of give you an example. Because everybody plays different, you know. Sometimes you might play someone that does the 4-man rush. Sometimes you might play someone that does the cover 4 drop show too. Unfortunately, I can't see that, but I think the closest thing they got is just a base cover 4 drop. But if it's the full cover 4 drop, with that full animation cover, if it's only a 3-man rush, we could utilize double teams. But I think Chris Jones is the main guy we need to be worried about. So, like I said, full animation, and then you can roll out, and then playmaker, you're running back up. That's what I do against cover 4 drop. Like, subscribe, guys. That's my Cash App at the bottom. If y'all show me love, I will put more of these videos out. I will start unloading the rest of the schemes that I've been working on, and I've kind of been keeping them in the vault. But I wanted to show you guys some new stuff that's not the same as, you know, what everybody was putting out last year. You know, like y'all know the strong eye close scheme everybody ran last year. You know, it's like it became too repetitive. Like they come out in the wide receiver out, and then they would primary their tight end. Their play would look like this, and then they would just sit there, wait on it, tight end would be wide open. So I mean, you can add that, you know, as a underneath passing option to your game as well, you know. But you know, that's pretty much what they ran last year to get the tight end wide open. But I try to add more to my schemes. I try to be a little bit more advanced with some of the stuff that I put out. And again, like I said, donate whatever you can to the Cash App, and I will appreciate it. And if I can reach my goal of at least, you know, $30, man, I'll put some more of these out for you guys. Okay, appreciate y'all. And like again, man, make sure y'all follow the channel, and you know, much love. All right.